All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm the admissions counselor at Grand Valley. And what I basically do is I meet with departments to get information to provide y'all. I also read applications, and I'll be hosting this session. So if you do have any admissions related questions or any questions specific to this session, which is the School of Computing Information Systems, at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar, there's a Q&A option. If you have any questions right now or during the session or at the end, feel free to type them in there, and me and who I will be introducing right now in a bit will go ahead and answer those questions for you. But again, thank you for joining this session, the School of Computing and Information Systems. I do want to welcome who's going to be running it, which is Paul Leidig. He is the School of Computer Information Systems Director and is also a professor within the school. So Professor, feel free to take the floor.
All right, thank you, Michael. And I'm glad to have the opportunity to share a little bit about the programs that we offer in the School of Computing. And we have a wide range of programs, a little bit about the way we operate and our philosophy, the faculty that we have, and hopefully we'll generate some questions that you hadn't thought about, and we'd be happy to have you contact us and ask us for more information if we didn't answer those for you. So let me just share a little bit of some background about our program. You know, everybody likes to brag and say what they think about their program. So I'll start by talking about what other people outside of Grand Valley have said about our program. For a few years, we were #1 in the country. We're still #1 in the Great Lakes region when it comes to the best buy for the money when it comes to computing and information systems programs. And so we're very proud of the fact that not only do we have very highly regarded academic programs and facilities and places for you to come, but it's also at a very affordable level as well. So let me start, because some of you may not have totally made up your mind about what you want to major in and what your future is as a career standpoint. So let me just start by sharing some reasons that you actually might choose to major in one of our computing disciplines. And that is that computing has become very critical to almost every discipline and career out there. That expertise in some computing fields like programming or data analytics or security are becoming necessary in your field, regardless of what that is. And so starting either majoring in computing or starting and taking some computing courses to add to your program is going to be very good advice that we hope you are able to take advantage of. A career in computing itself, if you were to get a major in one of our computing areas and go out into the field, you know, obviously it pays well. There are tons of jobs available. You have, you know, almost no problem finding jobs in whatever geography that you want to go work in, especially with the remote work environment that has become popular or required. These are the kinds of jobs that you can do from many parts of the country. So why specifically study computing at Grand Valley? First, within the School of Computing, computing is an umbrella term that we use to define and include many different computing areas. A lot of people are only familiar with, let's say, computer science or one of the other fields, but computing is the general term that includes here at Grand Valley 4 undergraduate bachelor's degrees and 4 master's level programs. Everybody says they have small classrooms. I'll show you some pictures here in a little bit. And we literally have small classrooms because we use rooms that are limited in what can fit. And therefore, the instructor is always going to be one of our full-time faculty members. The majority of our faculty have PhDs in the area that they will be teaching. And so you're going to get the qualified full-time faculty person teaching your class with a handful of students so that you get to know the instructor and the instructor actually gets to know more about you and what it is that you need. One of our strongest strengths is our internship with industry partners who sponsor students to do an internship. I'll jump down to number 6. They also follow up with our capstone experiences where we use industry projects that the employer will sponsor a project that needs to be done, and we'll put a team of Grand Valley students working together on that capstone course. Both internships and capstone courses are required for all of our degrees in the School of Computing. So if you were to come major in one of our disciplines, you will get a lot of hands-on experience, some real world industry-based projects that you'll get to work on, and experience with employers, which is going to set you up for a career. Most of those employers view these opportunities as a long-term interview. That goes in both directions, giving you a chance to get to know the employer, if that's where you want to work, and vice versa, if they get a chance to see if you're someone that they want to make an offer to for a career. We have great facilities, and again, I said we'll have a couple photos here, and I can explain that. And our programs are accredited by ABET, which is the accrediting body for computing programs. So this screen shows you the wide range of interrelated programs, either in the School of Computing or our sister school, the School of Engineering, both under the Padnos College of Engineering and Computing. So you can start on the left of the screen, for example, as more hardware related, electrical engineering offered in the School of Engineering. Also computer engineering, which the School of Computing provides courses, and we cooperate on that program. And then the 4 bachelor's programs that we offer in the School of Computing. One is the one most people are familiar with, and that's computer science, which is, if I would describe it more as the theory and algorithmic fundamentals to optimize and work with computing. So working with stuff like high performance computing, data mining, machine learning, all the stuff that is needed in many different careers. We have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, which obviously with all the news of what's going on, cybersecurity is a very hot field. Information technology, if you enjoy the technology and implementing, managing, supporting, and being that key person on keeping an organization's IT running and set up properly, that might be the right major for you. Information systems is a field that mixes organizational management needs with the computing solutions. And so that is dealing more with the organizations and people setting up the correct solutions for those organizational needs. The nice thing about having this wide variety of programs in our school is that we have the same faculty that teach their specialties across these programs. You share some courses, and so working together with majors in different areas to learn the course topic from a different flavor makes it a much stronger approach. And you have the opportunity of switching. If you start off in one of those majors and then realize that one of the others might be more appropriate, it's much easier then to move between the programs that we offer. So which one of those programs would be right for you? This is transposed a little bit where we had columns in the other screen. So computer science, cybersecurity, information systems, or information technology. If you really like being that creative problem solver, coming up with a fundamental solution for a very tough computing challenge, then that's probably going to be computer science. If you are really intrigued by protecting people and data and organizations from an adversary who's trying to break in that security, again, it's that problem solving, outside of the box thinking to ensure the integrity and the confidentiality of data to protect those systems. And cybersecurity is also in a very high demand field. As I mentioned earlier, the information systems, if you like setting up and designing systems that solve organizational and management needs, then we have the information systems, and information technology of setting up, analyzing, and maintaining those systems. That focuses more on the technology, whereas information systems is more as the management systems viewpoint. Here is a list of some of those employers. I mentioned that we are very industry integrated. This is simply a list of companies that in the previous semester or year have sponsored either capstone projects, internships of students, or have provided projects for us to use. This is an ongoing changing list, and so I don't put this up here as an exhaustive list, but this is simply a screen capture of all the companies that are currently supporting and working with our students. It's a big list. You'll notice some very large companies that many of you are familiar with. They're well-known companies. And then others are very small boutique shops that have a niche in computing and software development. Some of them are startups and give you an opportunity to be early in the game of helping to design those systems. So I mentioned our facilities. Top left is a typical room. That's actually the largest room that we have in the School of Computing available to us. And it looks large, but it only seats 48. We don't have sections that large, but that's a limit. And therefore, we're not going to be putting you in a tiered lecture hall with somebody droning on with lectures that you then have to try to understand and capture, but you'll be integrating closely with the faculty member. On the bottom left is an example of one of the classrooms that we call a hybrid room. In the front with the monitors down are desks and work tables that you can set at in a regular lecture style. But then the instructor may say, okay, let's take 10 minutes and see if we can write the line of code that will solve this, or see if we can figure out how to address a problem. And then the class can pull up the monitors from within the desk and immediately try to work on a solution. On the right side is what you probably are not going to find available to an undergraduate computing student at one of our other choices that you might have. Because we are primarily an undergraduate liberal arts oriented school, our faculty's primary purpose is instruction and teaching. And so we have facilities like this one, which is the networking lab, where students get exposure and actually use the same equipment that you'll be using out in the industry. And so it's not going to be theoretical. It's not going to be all simulation. You will actually get your hands on equipment so that you will be familiar with working with the real computers once you're out and working on them. One of the other strengths we have is a very large and diverse faculty. I know that on this screen you can't see the faces and names very much to hone in on them, but this is simply to show you the breadth. We have 45 full-time faculty in the School of Computing with educational and industry background from a wide range of electrical engineers to software engineers to technology specialists, cybersecurity experts, data science and analytics faculty. And the beauty of having such a large, diverse faculty is that they learn from each other. They share with each other strengths that then can be used across the curriculum, and you would have exposure to many of those. So the wide, diverse faculty that we have with a very strong background, not just with academic training, but bringing in industry experience is something that you will benefit from. We benefit as faculty from that expertise and having people with a wide range of backgrounds academically that help us become a much stronger faculty than what we would have with a much smaller select group. When we talk about being student-centered, we committed a long time ago to put our best instructors into our key courses. If you don't get the fundamentals in your early courses, you're probably going to struggle throughout your time here at Grand Valley. So we try to make sure that you get a really good start to your academics in the School of Computing. We've created a CIS Student Success Center. That's what this picture is. There's no one there in the photo, but it's a place where you can come and schedule times where faculty who teach the course commit to being there to answer questions, to help you if you're struggling with coming up with a solution to the problem. And even more important, if you don't even know what questions to ask, then you're probably not going to call or email your faculty member and say, I don't know what to do. But coming into the Student Success Center and listen to other students, ask questions, and try to figure out and solve problems is a nice, non-threatening way for you to be able to get through some of those tough components that we want you to learn. And so that is a commitment that we make to helping you as the student be successful. We also have a professional set of advisors. The Padnos College of Engineering and Computing has full-time staff of advisors who are available either for walk-ins or sign-ups that you can come and get help with your academic schedule, what courses you should take, what major might be appropriate, and to get you started on satisfying the requirements for your degree. We're a secondary admission set of programs, which means you have to be able to succeed in those early courses first and then apply for admission into the major. When you have been admitted into the major, then you will be assigned one of our faculty as your faculty mentor advisor to also give you advice on selecting the right electives, on how to approach employers, or which field you probably are better match at. And so we do make ourselves available for you to do that. So our School of Computing programs, as I mentioned, we have multiple programs that leverage the synergies of the faculty, so that faculty that bring, let's say, database experience will teach database to computer science majors, to IS majors, cybersecurity majors, and sometimes in the same class. And what that means is that a computer science major is going to get from Grand Valley a much more real world, applied, practical focus on those topics than what they might in other computer science programs. An information systems student is going to get a much more technically full background that you wouldn't in a general information systems program, which is built more on the people, the organizational structures, and lacks maybe some of the technical depth that you will get from this program. We also want to talk about the quality of students. Grand Valley consistently is ranked in the top tier of the top few universities in the state of Michigan when it comes to the GPA, the test scores. The quality of students that we have who make it through secondary admission into our program are very good students, and they will push you. And we like that because being able to learn among the best helps make you the best. And being able to put you in an environment with facilities and the relationships where faculty and students can work together, trying to solve problems that our industry partners are providing or are working with you, really puts you in a good position and therefore makes you in a very high demand once you graduate. So I hope I've given you just a quick overview of our programs and what we feel are our strengths, what outside members have also identified as how we are strong and how we compare with the choices that we know that you have. We would love for you to contact us and ask specific questions or see if we can help explain more about each of the programs if you have specific questions or if we can help you through that. So you can do that either by feeling free to email me directly. My email address is there on the screen, Leidig, Leidig, @gvsu.edu, or go to our website, cis.gvsu.edu. Hopefully the information that you wanted to find is on our website, but if not, there is a place that you can post a message, and a member of our staff will get back to you as quickly as possible to answer your questions and point you to the right person. And so we encourage you to reach out to us either through our website or via email, and we'll certainly get back to you. So I appreciate you joining us and watching this presentation, and hopefully you'll become a Laker soon. Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us. And this does conclude the session. However, if you do have any questions, just feel free to type them in the chat, and me and Professor Leidig can answer those questions for y'all. Looks like we don't have any questions, Professor. So we'll go ahead and conclude this session. As you did mention, Professor, if anyone does have any questions, just feel free to reach out to that email address, and we're more than happy to answer those questions. But thanks y'all again, and hopefully y'all have a great day. Thanks y'all.
Thanks, Michael.